Hello, Professor.
You said that.
How are you?
I'm alive. How you doing?
Oh, everyone is alive. Internet safe.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Do you feel better?
I'm okay. Yeah, I don't feel sick. I still feel tired though. I'm just ready to smash every screen in my life. I don't ever want to look at a TV or a computer or a screen again. That's my feeling today.
Oh my God.
So I'm excited for spring break. I'm gonna take. I'm not. I don't want to watch. I don't want to see any computers for a week.
It starts from next week?
Yeah, spring break. So next week is spring break. So no class. You shouldn't have class for any. You should have nothing next week. Yeah. No Zooms. No nothing due for you guys in other classes. Yeah, nada. Nothing.
How about the essay? Because it says that it's due after 1 week, right? After you submit it.
After I grade it, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
be grading over spring break.
Oh, good.
Oh, this draft. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Yeah. So if you want to, I'm tired today. So I'm just, if I sound rude, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't care. Like, so if you want to revise and resubmit in 2 weeks or three, I don't care. I don't care. That's not to be rude. That's just to say I'm not going to be grading over spring break. So. I just graded them. I don't want to even think about grading them again. It's true.
It's okay. Take it easy, Professor.
All of you guys too. All of you guys too. Like I said, I'm not. Oh, I always feel like when I feel tired or stressed or sick, it's like I'm not. I don't want to. I want to be honest as always, but I also don't want to complain. Right? It's like I want to have a good attitude. You can have a good attitude about being tired or stressed. You know. So that's the challenge for me. Hey, Mir. Yeah, I see everybody coming in. Amana, Olena, Nadia, Angela, Mir, Sabzina, Rukshan, good to see you. Rukshan, I saw you're driving. Please stay safe. Focus on what you're doing.
See, Professor, I'm also sick, but I came to your class.
You have your mat? Where are you?
At home.
You have your mask on at home to keep your family safe?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Sada. Take it easy.
Yes.
Today is like a workshop style day. I'm gonna ask you guys to do a lot of writing, so you won't have to listen or talk as much. So take care of yourself, however you need to take care of yourself, okay, Sada?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm okay.
Okay. I see other people just saying hi in the chat. Hello, hey Nadia, hey Amina. Excuse me. We'll start in a few minutes. I'm sure people are thinking about grades. Try not to think about grades right now if you can. Computer. Too much computer, you guys. Great, got a few more people coming in. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. Hi, Nasima. Shri says hi. Hi, Shri.
Hello.
I got him up.
How are you? Everyone.
No, I think we are spring break is like a medical necessity at this point.
This is my last attendance because I will be working. We're going back to work.
Yeah. You're lucky. Tomorrow I have 4.5 hours of lab. Oh, again, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to complain. I'm tired and I'm really sick of computer screens, but it's okay. I can check my attitude. It's okay.
It's hard, yeah.
So much computer time.
I'm not working from the computer, but it is hard.
I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it too.
When I was working I did a lot of jobs before I went to get my master's degree, and maybe I said this to this class, forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I worked in financial aid, I worked in student services.
That's good.
And when I quit working in financial aid in 2012 and went back to grad school because I said, I will never sit at a computer for 40 hours a week again. I will never do this. And now God had other plans. Hi, Fazia. Hi, Fazia.
It's hard.
Hi, Layla. But like I said, I have a job. Like I said, I'm allowed to be tired, but I'm also trying to check my attitude. So I'm okay. Oh, all right. It's 12:20. Hi to everybody who came in. I think I got to see everybody who came in and talk to you guys. So we are here. It is our last class before spring break. And as you can tell, I know I need it. So I hope you are all ready for that. You probably saw this morning. So one reason that I'm so much computer screen time this week is finally finishing grading and feedback for your essays. And I wanted to say, in all of them, I said, if you want more help or if you need some more specific examples about what to do to revise and resubmit, come see me. So in the chat, I'm going to put once again the schedule for today's office hours. I already have scheduled time to meet with 2 students at 2:30 and at 2:40. But if you want a little more extra computer time and you want to talk about your essay today, please, all you have to do is type your name next to the box for the time that you might want to come. Okay, so you can do this anytime today. You don't have to do it right now when everyone's looking at it, but the link is in the chat. So if you want to talk about it, we can do it today. Otherwise, if you want to talk about to me before you revise and resubmit for a higher score, we'll do it after spring break, because I'm not doing Friday tomorrow at 12:30. I'm out. I'm done for the week.
Okay,
So.
you said that we have to submit it after 1 week.
Yeah, and someone else said that, and I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or rude to you guys, but I'm just going to say I don't care about my own stupid rules. So because I'm not grading over spring break. So
Okay, you will not take a point from us. Okay.
no, I mean, and again, I totally, yeah, and I also hope that people aren't too worried about that, because I mean, I haven't taken. I'm not really a points taker, as you guys can tell. I mean, I'm a pretty. I don't want you to feel stressed. So I usually say you have a week to give myself some time, but this semester I needed more time to finish your essays. So I don't expect revisions in the middle of spring break, because I'm not going to look at them in the middle of spring break.
That's good, that we can do it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah, she's coming.
Emergency.
Any other questions about this, signing up for appointments, or that? I guess the revision, the 1 week revision timeline was something important. So yeah, just if you're here, you're watching on the recording, you have time to revise and resubmit. The sooner the better for my life, but I don't expect you to submit it in 1 week, especially if you want to talk to me one-on-one and you can't come today, because like I said, I'm not doing meetings Friday, tomorrow, or next week. So if you want to talk to me before you revise, you'll have to do it starting the week of the 5th, April 5th, after spring break. What else? Any other questions?
Okay. Yes. Okay. I did my paraphrasing the test, but it's unfortunately my computer did something wrong. The answers it was I submitted, and then I figured out everything was not correct.
Yeah.
Can get one more chance to do it.
I think for the I looked at the paraphrasing activity and I started to grade it, but again, I was just in grading hell. So I think I'm sort of thinking out loud here, but I think we're going to paraphrase today. You're going to paraphrase for the rest of the semester. I think what I'm going to do is, if students completed that assignment at all, I will just give you the points for that assignment, because a lot of people did the paraphrasing activity at the beginning of this unit on paraphrasing. So I think it's going to be better, instead of redoing things you already did, is I'll just give you the points and we'll practice it today. We're going to practice it after spring break. And that way you don't need to do it twice.
No. The answer was wrong. The same. She said paraphrasing is the same summary. I write no. That is not the same, but the computer. I don't know what happened. It's saying when I submitted, I see.
Yeah, like I said, this to me. So it sounds like your question is about points, right? It's not about learning. Yeah, so what I'm saying is I'll give you the points. I don't want you guys to waste time doing work over again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't, again, I'm too tired to lie to you guys today. I don't care. I don't care about 1 point on a lesson. I don't care at all. I care about paraphrasing. I care about you getting practice. I care about you learning. I do not care about 1 point on one lesson. So I think that's going to be the better use of your time and my time. I should not be teaching. I feel like I'm like drunk driving or something. It's like, don't teach when you're as tired as I am today. Okay. Any other questions before we get started for today? Luckily, I'm going to make you, it's going to be a little more quiet today. We're going to do more practice, like I said, and I won't have to talk. Like I said, I might get myself in trouble if I have to talk today. So any other questions? Like I said, so thank you. Get the revision in as soon as you can. I'm not going to take points off if it takes you more than a week. If you want to talk to me about your essay, sign up for a time today. If you can't come today, you'll have to wait until after spring break. And don't worry about the lesson 12 paraphrasing activity. If you've done it, I will just give you the points and we'll make sure that you get time to practice and learn how to paraphrase, you know, within class and after spring break and stuff like that. So that's my quick summary of the announcements. Any other questions before we jump in?
Do you have
Yeah.
time in the morning to make a Zoom, the appointment to go on Zoom or not?
Wednesday mornings. And the best thing to do, but again, not so if you want to meet in the morning, it will not be tomorrow and it will not be next week. It'll have to be the week of April 5th. So the best thing to do would be text me or email me with a day and time that works for you. Just say, Jeff, can you meet Tuesday at 9 or whatever? Ask me a time, because that's a much more effective way to get a time instead of just like, when can you meet? I don't know your schedule, right? So suggest a day and a time, ask, and if I can do it, I will do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I really hope I don't sound mean today, you guys. Any other questions? I'm sorry, you guys. All right, today's Thursday, the 25th of March, the week before spring break. In our second semester of everything being online, before next semester when everything stays online, more computer time for all of us. Today, we kind of did our warm up, and today's really a workshop day. And anytime you see in this class, I say workshop, it means it's like a chance, it's just time for you to do homework, basically, right? Like a time for you to work on things in class instead of trying to find time outside of class to do it. Actually, I want to do this now at the beginning. So I also wanted to show you something in Canvas. This is kind of our warm-up activity here. So over spring break, I don't want you to do any homework, right? If you want to make up lessons or if you want to revise things or whatever, fine. But I'm not giving you any new assignments or any new lessons to do during that week, right? Spring break is over on March 5th, right? So that March 5th is the beginning of the next week of class. So we meet on a Thursday. I don't want to waste those the 5th and the 6th and the 7th of April. So what I want you to do, I'm asking you to do if you can, is in those 3 days or whenever you can, is to start Hyperfocus. And I wanted to show you where all the resources for Hyperfocus live in Canvas. There's a lot of stuff I have for you there, okay? So before I start questions, I'm going to show you in Hyperfocus. I'm going to show you in Canvas. So if you go to the home page, and did I put this? Where did I put this? And then you go to Professor Jeff's. Actually, you know what? Let me do this right now. It's going to make life even easier. I'll put it right there in the middle of the page. And I want to link to a page. Hyperfocus. Okay, great. I was gonna put this in a different place, but we'll just put it on the home page. Okay, so now on the home page, let's go to student view. Okay, so if you go to the home page now, this link that says Hyperfocus, right? Just click the link. And I've got, there's a cover of the book. I've got the reading schedule. So page 1 through 49. This is what I'd like you to read before we meet 2 weeks from today on April 8th. Underneath here, I also have audio recording of myself reading the book. So again, I can label this better. Canvas was being very strange this week, but it's just going to be in order, okay? So Hyperfocus, actually, he begins the book by saying chapter 0, right? So let me make sure I can share my sound with you. But I always will tell you in these files which chapter I'm reading. So
Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey. Chapter 0.
Right. So in each of the audio files, I will tell you what chapter.
Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey, chapter 0.5.
Great. So all of these audio recordings, again, just like I did for A Map is Only One Story, this is a chance for you if you'd rather listen to the book, if you want to read some and then listen some, if you have a pronunciation question about some of the words in the book, right? All of the audio files are here for you. Again, I think Canvas, again, I was fighting with Canvas a little bit. I know I have the first 120 pages already posted. I've got the files. So it might take me a day or two to get all the technology worked out, but these first pages, 1 through 49, and I think even through page 1 through 110 are all here on the audio recordings for you to listen to, okay? And again, that's if you go to the home page, and just underneath our live support materials, click on that hyperfocus link. That is where you can look at the reading schedule here and the audio recording. I wanted to show you one other thing really quickly in Canvas. If you've ever gone to Files, right? Files is a link you can click over here. Click on Files. And then if you go, we've got every file for this class I've organized here in this folder. And I'm showing you this because if you ever wanted to download things, you can do that in lots of different ways, but this is another place you could do it, right? So if you click on Hyperfocus, this folder that says Hyperfocus, you'll see all the files. There's some documents with vocabulary. Not all of the vocabulary documents are done, but they're there too. If you wanted to, you can go over here to these 3 little dots on the right side of the screen, click them, and then click download there. Now you can do that with any file, right? You could do that with the PowerPoints, you could do that with the recordings, you could do that with anything in this files folder. So again, some people might want to play and listen to the audio files while they're in Canvas. Some people might want to download the file and play it on their phone or whatever, right? However you like to listen, there's all these different ways for you to do it. So that's why I wanted to show that to you there, right? So homepage, hyperfocus link, you can find everything there. Or if you click here on this files page and then click the hyperfocus folder, all of the material is there too, right? So that's my quick Canvas tour, introducing you really quickly to where stuff for Hyperfocus lives in our Canvas site. But again, I'm going to go back to that Hyperfocus link and just show you. So before next Thursday, I'm asking you to read the first 49 pages of the book, and we'll talk about that in 2 weeks from today. I wanted to show that to you now so that we weren't running out of time. Now that's the only new thing, right? Even there though, there's no lesson, there's nothing for you to do for points in Canvas, but I am asking you to start to read the book or listen to the book before we meet in 2 weeks. Excuse me, questions, any questions at all about that? Cool.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is the link that you wrote in our chat?
I was just going to say, we do have a question from Rafi in the chat, and the link is, I was able to finally finish grading the first draft of your narratives. So in comments, I told people, hey, if you have any more questions, if you need some more help, of course, you can come talk to me one-on-one about your essay, right? About how to revise and resubmit. So this is a sign-up sheet for one-on-one conferences. So again, I've got 2 students already signed up. One student's coming at 2:30, one at 2:40. But this was just for any student who wanted to talk about their essay or how to revise it today. I wanted to make it easy for you guys to find the sign-up sheet in case anybody wanted to talk today. So that's all it is, Rafi.
Okay, it is just for today.
This one's just for today. So in 2 weeks, when we come back, I can definitely do this and make a sign-up sheet. Or I think Subsina was asking too, if you want to meet at a different time after spring break,
Okay.
Just send me a text or a message, because tomorrow I'm in the lab from 8 until 12:30, and then I'm done with computers after that. But if you want to make a time to meet at a different day and time too, this is what I told Subsina. Just text me or email me and say, Jeff, can you meet Tuesday at 9 o'clock? Or can you meet Wednesday at 10 o'clock? Or just suggest a specific day or time if it's not today. And if I can do it, I will do it.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Cool. Okay, that was a lot of, that wasn't even a warm up, you guys. That was just announcements. Any questions about business, hyperfocus, gray, any of that stuff before we talk about paraphrasing? All right, let's go. So that was a lot of me, and I'm like a crazy person today, like I told you. I'd love to hear from just a few people, either speaking or in the chat. We're gonna do, like I said, on the agenda today is workshop, practicing paraphrasing. So I would love just a few people. How are we feeling about paraphrasing today? I'd love it. Answers in the chat. Tell me out loud. How are we feeling? Is there anything any questions that I can answer before we just practice? Because like I said last week too, sometimes with some skills, you just got to practice. But before we just practice, any questions? Layla, you're muted.
I'm comfortable with this. I like it. This is my problem. So I don't know the sentence. Sometimes we don't know the sentences in general. Sometimes it's paraphrasing, and we don't know what he want to say or she want to say. But we don't know some word. If we know all the sentences, it's easy to write in our word, own word, I think.
Yeah, meaning. So I want to make sure I'm getting this. So this is about vocab, sort of what do we do when there's a vocabulary word in the text we don't know? Exactly. What do we do?
We need to see in a dictionary.
Yep, I was going to say the first thing I would do is learnersdictionary.com. Translate, if you still need help, translate, but remember, translate the word, not the whole sentence. If you translate the whole sentence, it's going to get hard, but if you need to help translate the word, that might be very helpful. And then synonyms, right? And then the other thing I want to be clear about here is, like I said, I think the last 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes you're just going to kind of guess. You kind of have to guess the meaning from this context of the sentence. Like, you have to accept with summarizing and paraphrasing that you might not be 100% sure. You just have to try, because if you feel like, ooh, I'm not going to even try, or I can't even write this sentence until I understand perfectly, you're going to waste time. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take you forever, because hyperfocus, you don't have to paraphrase hyperfocus, but it's like a 190-page book. You know what I mean? Like, if you had to stop for every word you don't understand, you'll never finish the book, Now, that's not always a really satisfying answer. And like I said, I only speak 2 languages. I got to read so many of your essays about how many languages you guys speak. It's fantastic. But even in Spanish, I understand. Like, I hate it when it's like, I don't know what that word means, and you just keep going. But you kind of have to do it, otherwise you stop, right? Otherwise you just stop and you get lost. So like I said, so the question is, what do we do? 1, learnersdictionary.com or whatever your favorite dictionary is. 2, translation. That can help with specific words, 1 or 2 words. 3, look at the synonyms, right? Look at the powerthesaurus.com, the links that people were sharing. See if you can use a thesaurus and find a synonym that is helpful. And then make your best guess. That's kind of, these are kind of like strategies, sort of like reading and writing strategies, right? For figuring out new vocabulary words. And if you look at that, I need to finish them. But if you go to files in Canvas, like I was showing you guys, I did put together for the first few chapters, but it took so much time. I tried to create vocabulary resources for you guys. So if you go to files, hyperfocus, like I have a documents here that you could download and use. And all I did was give you the word, the part of speech, and the definition. But even this took me so much time to make, and then it's better if you guys do it, because I don't know what words you know and you don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's better for you when you're reading to be like, okay, I don't know what that word is, I'm going to keep going. Or, oh, I don't know what that word is, and it seems like a really important word, and I had better make sure I understand it before I keep going, right? Even that skill, developing that skill within yourself is really, really useful, right? So the first few chapters, I've got these sort of vocabulary resource guides here. You see how old they are? This was when I was working at Berkeley City College. They're very old, but they're there for you if you want them. But I think even more than me just giving you a list of vocabulary is what I told you. Read. If you're really confused, look up the definition. And sort of doing your best, right? Doing your best to understand the meaning from the context of the reading, right? It's a great question, Layla. I mean, like it's a huge question. And it shows also why this skill, paraphrasing, summarizing, is like kind of the bridge between reading and writing, right? Like it's a skill where before you write a paraphrase, you kind of have to use reading skills to make sure you understand what you're reading before you can write your paraphrase, right? So that's another reason it's a difficult skill. Cool, great question. Because I'm going to ask you to paraphrase today. So if you get stuck on a vocab word, like Layla was saying, check it out. Do you need to look up the word? Yes or no? If you do, look up the word and see if you can figure it out. Great question, Layla. Any other ideas or questions before we jump in? All right. So the other thing I'm doing with these sort of practice activities is getting us ready for hyperfocus, right? Last week, we went through this power of attention article, and you'll see this again, don't worry, today. And so this power of attention is a big and important idea in hyperfocus, right? Now, today, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at another article for you here. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you can download it and look at it on your own computer if you want. I'll also keep projecting it onto the screen like I'm doing now. But let me add this in the chat for people who want to download it themselves. This one is Why You're Struggling. There we go. Okay, so it's in the chat. If you open up the chat, you should be able to open the file or download the file if you want to look at it yourself. It looks like this. Now, again, just like we did last time, and we're going to look at this in the Hyperfocus book itself, but there are some reading strategies we can do before we even get started that will help us understand the main idea. So this is like I was saying, right? Last week, the headline is going to give you big clues. These header sections, anything that's in big letters or in bold letters is usually telling you there's main ideas. Also, if I keep scrolling down the screen, even without so small you can't read it, what do you notice here? How is this article organized? What do you see?
Part by part.
Good. Yeah. What about those parts, Sadaf?
It's short.
Good. Nadia says each part is very short. And what do we see? What else is special about the headers here? What do you notice? Even before the words, what do we get?
Every paragraph has a title.
Excellent. Yep. And title's what I mean by header, Fatma. So when I say header, that means that's sort of like a line by itself. And it's not even a sentence, right? It's maybe just a few words. And the other thing that's special about this is we get these numbers, right? So we get a number, we get a header, we get that title, like Fatma was saying, and each section is very short. And now if we go back and look at the title, Why You're Struggling to Concentrate and What Can Help, we've got these short little sections with headers and numbers. So let's just take some guesses. Either tell me or put it in the chat. Before we even start to read, what do we think, what's going on with this article? What do we think this will be about?
Like order.
Good. Rafi's talking about order. Yeah, you want anything else?
Advice. They give us advice how to focus more.
Yes.
They give us the problem and they solve it for us.
Ooh, Fatma is using critical reading skills like a boss. That's exactly correct, right? Yeah. So why you're struggling to, I love that. Why you're struggling to concentrate, problem. and what can help, solution. Now, this is something you guys are probably used to if you're reading anything online in any language. This is really common now, right? Like an online article or the way that we present information online, pretty common to see. It's not like a book, right? Like people know if you go to a website and it's just like never ending block of text, no one is going to read that article, right? So what we do now is you get these things that look like lists. You get headers and things with big bold letters, you get numbers and sort of ideas of how to go through those things, sort of like Rafi was saying, in order to read the advice, like Fatma was pointing out, right? Great. So again, even before, we did this super fast. Notice that only took 3 or 4 minutes to do this. But again, this is another example of a reading strategy. So instead of just open the reading, open the article, start with the first sentence and be like, oh my God, I'm going to read for 2 hours. Look at the whole thing really quickly, right? In Hyperfocus, page 1 through 49. Just skim through it and see, what do you notice, right? Because what you're doing there is you're really getting your brain ready so that when you actually start to read, when you start to focus, you're more prepared. And I promise eventually it will feel easier. It really will feel easier. So scanning the article or what you're going to read can really help you understand what you read. And as I've said many times, if you don't understand what you read, it's not possible to paraphrase it. So, so just like last week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the article. So you'll hear more of my voice. I'm sorry. I'm going to read through the article. You can follow along. You can close your eyes and listen. You can read on your own screen. You can mute me and just read silently, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to read through the article. And this first time we read through the article, I don't even want you to think about writing, paraphrasing, whatever. I just want you to make sure, do you understand the main idea? And are there any specific, especially key words? Like Layla was saying, if you see a word repeated many, many times and you don't know what it is, we probably need to look it up, right? So the first reading, I'd really love for you to think about main idea and keywords, okay? Cool. I'll read through and then we'll talk about this. And then after that, then it'll be your turn to write a little bit. Okay. So this is why you're struggling to concentrate and what can help. Again, this is called the byline. This doesn't matter for my class, but when you go to write your research paper, bylines are really important. That's the date that it was written or published and the name of the author. So here we have the byline and the date. All right. And I'm starting right here. Are you brain lazy? If the daily onslaught of news, Zoom meetings, emails, and WhatsApps has left your attention span shot, you need to read this. Now, despite what the above suggests, this isn't going to be a tech bashing article. Apps, phones, and Wi-Fi, and most recently Zoom and House Party, have made our lives infinitely easier. And I'm a big fan of a bit of digital delegation to help me out of a life admin hole. Thank you, Monday.com. However, in an attempt to solve one problem, our reliance on tech seems to have created another. It could make us brain lazy. I first heard the term from Harley Street hypnotherapist and life coach Malminder Gill. She defines it as, quote, the lack of motivation, awareness, and or ability to focus the mind, the absence of which leads to a conveyor belt style of thoughts, which in turn dictates moods, attitudes, and beliefs over time. Even before the pandemic, Gill had seen a rise of instances of brain laziness in recent times and believes that our overdependence on tech could be one of the key reasons behind it. Quote, it has become a widespread epidemic, silently killing our ability to finish a thought, solve a problem. I missed a line, I'm sorry here. I can't read it. So much so that we no longer need to organize and plan things that are critical and cognitive functions needed to help us concentrate. And now I'm right here. It's never been easier to outsource than it is now, but in doing so, Malminder believes it could be giving us a case of brain rust. Quote, the prefrontal cortex plays a key role in planning. It's the area of the brain used for focus and concentration. If that's claimed away by the use of multiple apps, the muscle isn't being used. It could be that the inability to concentrate is a side effect of the digital generation, with the constant bombardment of news and Twitter feeds, emails and WhatsApps, making it nearly impossible to focus both in and out of our work. However, too much tech is only part of the problem. The fact that life's more demanding and stressful than ever doesn't help when it comes to staying focused and concentrating on one thing at a time. Quote, doing too much is to blame, but a deeper level of this is really our desperate need to fit in, keep up, and belong and be included, says neuroscientist and executive performance coach, Dr. Magdalena Bachmeier. That makes it hard for people to pause and stop and choose to simply think. Lockdown itself is having an effect on our ability to concentrate. Our home life, work life, homeschooling, and all versions of ourselves are overlapping. Our brains are being pulled in so many different directions simultaneously. These are things that are normally compartmentalized. Quote, it's like multitasking in the extreme, explains neuroscientist Tara Swart. This erodes focus and concentration, not to mention the underlying chronic stress that is slowly but surely sapping our brain power. The good news, though, is that there are ways to fix your focus and improve your ability to concentrate. Here are 11 tips from pros that can help. Okay, now I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna give you guys like 2 minutes quiet. Don't think, don't talk. What did you just read, right? This is another reading strategy. Stop yourself, you can review, but I'm gonna shut up for 2 minutes. Make sure you have some idea of what you just read, review, and then we'll keep going. But this is another strategy you can do when you're reading long texts, okay? So. Okay, stopping like we just did, especially when you're reading something long and asking yourself, what did I just read? Did I understand it? Do I need to go back and underline, circle any words to make sure I look them up? Really helpful reading strategy. So again, more practice of these type of strategies. Okay, I'm gonna continue. 1, avoid multitasking. Ever been too stressed to focus? For me, it often happens when I have a million things whirring around in my mind and I kid myself into thinking I can do them all through a multitasking and multi-device approach. However, in an attempt to be ultra efficient, the results are quite frequently far from it. Multitasking has become the new norm and almost a badge of honor, but in our quest for quantity, quality can be compromised. Instead of stretching yourself too thin, Chloe Brotheridge, hypnotherapist, coach, and anxiety expert, and author of The Anxiety Solution, advises trying the Pomodoro technique to help you plow through your to-do list. Quote, set a timer for 25 minutes and aim to work continuously for that time, she tells me. Knowing that the timer is going will keep you and help you to focus your mind. After 25 minutes, set your timer again to have a 5-minute break and repeat. Author's note, I tried this while writing this article and it works. The busier we are, the less likely we are. Oh, number 2, I think. Actually, excuse me, you guys, I'm so sorry. I should just look this up online. When I saved this as a PDF, it changed the formatting. Oh, where'd my link go? There we go. I'll put this link in the chat too. Sorry about that, you guys. Here's the original article. Online, the formatting is probably better. Cool, I'm gonna do it off of this screen now. All right, number 1. So we just finished number 1, avoid multitasking. So we finished author's note. I tried this while writing this article and it works. To make sure you focus on tasks throughout those 25 minutes, you can take advantage of streamlined music developed by neuroscientists. Streamlined music puts you in the zone and helps you focus on one task at a time. It quiets your monkey mind, a term used in meditation circles referring to the brain's tendency to jump around, and aims to increase your focus. 2, take regular breaks. The busier we are, the less likely we are to take our lunch break. We've all been there, with many of us all too ready to sacrifice that lucrative midday hour in the name of meeting deadlines. However, as counterintuitive as it sounds, working through your breaks isn't necessarily going to see them done sooner. In fact, quite the opposite. And as mentioned in the above point, integrating them into the way you work and throughout the day will do great things for your productivity. Quote, mental performance drops if we don't take breaks. Decision-making becomes slower, attention levels wane, and thinking can become more rigid, explains Dr. Dimitrios Pashos, consultant psychiatrist at Recognition Health. If a task is becoming stale, taking a break will do wonders for your motivation mojo too. It needn't be long. Grab a drink, get some fresh air, or stretch and come back to the task in hand with renewed energy and focus, recommends mind coach and TV presenter Anna Williamson. It'll help fend off to-do list fatigue and lethargy and get your creative juices flowing. 3, do some daily mental exercise. Getting distracted easily can be viewed as a bad habit. And as with most bad habits, it's easy to break by introducing some small changes into your routine every day. Quote, it is important to remember that the brain is a muscle, and as with other muscles in our body, practice increases strength and durability, says Terrence the teacher, mindfulness expert in the wellness clinic at Harrods. If you're really struggling to fix your focus, don't fret, as if it's possible to train yourself, as it is possible to train yourself out of it. Start by doing 5 minutes of focused work with a 2-minute break in between, he recommends. You can build up this way of working gradually. Let your mind get used to concentrating fully for those periods. Eventually, you will find you can focus for longer. You can also help apply the breaks to a fast-track mind by mixing up your daily reading material. Quote, train yourself to read slower with a more focused mind, says Terrence. In today's world of the internet and social media, our brains have been wired for quick information, a few clicks, and we get bored. To get concentration and attention span back will take practice. Start reading one long article or news bulletin a day and question yourself on what you have read afterwards. Okay, same thing. I'm going to shut up for 2 minutes. Just review, ask yourself, did I understand? Was I listening? What was going on? Did I tune out? Did I open a different web page? Just 2 minutes to reflect. Did you listen? Were you listening? What's going on? What did you understand? All right. Moving on. Number 4, book in for that exercise class. It'll do the brain and body good. Quote, not only does exercise improve your physical and mental health, it improves cognitive function. You'll be able to think and concentrate better straight after, says Anna. So get your trainers on and enjoy a morning walk. It also has a beneficial effect on stress levels too, to create a less chaotic mind. Exercise helps to metabolize the stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, and restores calm in the body, explains Dr. Pashos. Oh, and it helps you sleep better too. 5, take time out to rest and get a good night's sleep, which brings us smoothly on to our next point. Sleep is the secret to a quicker, sharper mind. As Terence explains, quote, a well-rested mind performs up to 60% better than a tired, sleep-deprived one. If you want to be able to concentrate better, sleep and rest almost have to become your magic bullets. In deep sleep, your dreams allow the brain to process things learned and experienced the day before. This allows you to wake up with a renewed mind that will be able to give 100% again. 6, try mindfulness meditation. Not only will this improve your sleep if you tend to struggle, but it'll also improve your ability to focus throughout the day too. Quote, mindfulness meditation is a technique that trains your mind to be in the present moment, explains Chloe. Our minds have a tendency to go into the past or the future or go down the distraction rabbit hole as one thought leads to another. Being present means you can focus on the task at hand, and you're able to steer your attention back to what you're doing when any potential distractions appear. She recommends trying a mindfulness meditation class at your local Buddhist or yoga center, trying a mindfulness app, or simply taking 10 minutes to focus on your breathing to train your, quote, mindfulness muscle. You'll be able to see differences to your concentration skills surprisingly speedily. Quote, various research has shown how mindfulness meditation changes the brain functioning within 6 to 8 weeks of practice, Terence tells us. He recommends a simple breath meditation to start things off. 1 deep breath in, 1 slow breath out. You can do 5 to 10 breaths to start. The longer breath out has been shown to almost immediately relax the parasympathetic nervous system. It's especially convenient because it can be done almost anytime and anywhere whenever you encounter a moment of stress. 7, eliminate distractions. Do whatever you can to keep distraction, temptation out of reach, whether that's putting your phone on airplane mode or deleting time-wasting apps. Turn it off and put it away, says Dr. Magdalena Bachmer, advised us when we asked her for her top tips for cultivating a healthier relationship with tech. Revisit white sheets of paper to sketch on. Invest in a paper journal and make dedicated time for technology and stick to the task involved. For example, turn email on to check it and then turn it off. And turn the alerts off as well. Those constant pings really erode concentration. Okay. Same thing, 1 minute silence. Ask yourself, what did we just read? What do you understand? All right, let's finish. Number 8, become a more active listener. If your inability to focus has negatively affected your skills as a conversationalist, you're not alone. With an increasingly large amount of our communication more screen-based these days, it's no surprise that our social skills have suffered as a result. If this sounds like an all too familiar scenario, Malmander Gill recommends getting out of your head and actively listening in conversations rather than staying quiet to formulate your own thoughts. Quote, being an active listener really means being at one with the other person in the conversation, she tells us, listening to their words, watching their body language, and picking up on changes in tone, actually concentrating on what they're saying without daydreaming or thinking about what your next sentence will be. By doing this, it'll improve your auditory concentration skills and ability to process and interpret sounds, another muscle that's in need of great flexing in our digital heavy world. Plus, it'll improve your memory too. 9, make time away from your screen a priority and schedule it in. Whether it's a live performance, show, or hobby, going to places or doing things where tech doesn't play an integral role will preoccupy your mind, so you're less likely to succumb to distraction and will relieve some stress too. Quote, doing things that distance us from screens can have a positive effect, says Dr. Kiki Lutner from University College London. For example, going to the theater is an experience that makes you totally present. Outside stimuli are removed. Mobile phones have to be switched off. And for a couple of hours, you're away from the real world and the impact of screens. Positive effects of theater and live performance are present both for those engaging in theater and those consuming it. Brain activity appears to be enhanced when a performance is watched in theater versus on screen. And also get socializing. Socializing helps to reduce anxiety and depression and improves mental sharpness, says Dr. Pashas. It's important to establish and maintain good social networks and support. There's never been a better reason to get the drinks in. 10, fuel yourself well. Think plenty of water and resisting high sugar cravings to keep concentration levels on an even keel. As Anna explains, quote, too much sugar or caffeine will make you feel sluggish and will affect focus and energy levels, particularly once the high has worn off. Eat regular healthy meals and never skip breakfast to ensure you're fueling your body and brain properly. 11, declutter your workspace. It's true, clutter can kill your focus. A 2011 study by researchers at the Princeton University Neuroscience Institute found that when multiple visual stimuli are competing for our attention, you'll find it trickier to narrow your focus to just one of them. Quote, the neater, cleaner, quieter your workspace, the better your concentration will be, says executive and career coach Anna Percy Davis. If your desk is just too busy and noisy, seek out a quiet, tidy space to do an important piece of work if needs be. If you're in need of some desk inspiration, we suggest heading over to Marie Kondo's Instagram page. Her KonMari method balances the professional with the personal pretty perfectly. Okay, same thing, a minute silence. Just what did we read there? What do you understand? What do you not understand? 1 minute, think about it. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna practice. You're gonna start writing in a few minutes here. But before we do, I don't want to talk about the list yet. We'll look at the list in a minute here. I think the list is important, right? The list is the solution. I love what Fatma was saying. This article explains the problem and then offers 11 suggestions, right? 11 ways to fix the problem. But I think before we start to talk about that list with all the headers and all the numbers, it's important that we make sure we understand, you know, the main idea, again, because we can't paraphrase, we can't summarize what we don't understand. So that comes before the list, right? That's this section of the article. So this section of the article that I've got in blue here, let's just talk about it. You can respond by speaking or put it in the chat. What's the idea here, right? What's the problem? What is this author writing about?
Excuse me, can you get it a little bigger? Is too small.
Yeah, it's hard to show you the whole article. That's why, again, the link is in the chat, the file's in the chat. So if you wanted to look at it, the thing is, there's no way I can I can't show you all the important information. But let's just talk about the main idea. What do you remember? Even without rereading, what do you guys remember? It's a pretty long article. There's a lot of ideas in there, right? So let's just start at what we do remember.
So according to the paragraph, it was all about the technology and our brain, how it affected.
Love it.
And the technology like apps and Wi-Fi that most of people thinking that it help people organize their lives. And she also loves using technology.
Yes.
And it makes her life easier.
Yes.
However, but she said if we want to solve our problem through technology, it causes a lot of laziness to our brain.
Good.
So also there was some thought that Gale said, and he argued that our brain lazy because our brain lazy was not about the technology, and it was not even so. They said something about the brain lazy,
Yeah.
and they said this was all about the new technology, and we made that for our brain. And they give has a lot of solution how to fix that and how to just be a normal person and don't use a lot of technology, and how we can keep our brain healthier without using lots of technology, and focus when we're doing anything, just focus only on one thing.
Really nice. Good. Sadaf got a lot of good information in there. Really, really, really nice. And Sadaf sort of identified this idea of brain lazy as an important idea, that connection to technology. Absolutely. In the chat, Fatma says the effects of technology, positive and negative in her life. Good. And Cherie says how to return our concentrate our concentration. Okay, I love that. Okay, so again, now this is a summary question kind of that I'm asking here, but okay, here's my question. Is this an article about technology, or is it an article about concentration?
Concentration.
Good. I could tell from people's comments and stuff, I think that was clear, but excellent, right? And so the connection to technology, of course, is how technology affects, exactly like Fatma was saying, affects our life, right? So it's the effects of technology on our concentration, or like Sadaf was saying, our health, our mental health, you know, what we're able to do, what we're not able to do. Very, very nice. Okay, great. Now, then how about this part of the paragraph here? So like I said, I'm asking that question because the second half of the sort of introduction, or the part before the list, you know, starts with this transition sentence. Tech is only part of the problem, right? Because this article is not just saying technology is the only problem, technology is the biggest problem. No, it says the problem is we are having a harder time concentrating. Technology is one of those problems, right? So what are some of the other things, again, before we get to the suggestion, before we look at the list, which is what we're going to paraphrase, what are some other things that this author discusses connected to concentration? Well, what's going on here? Someone just look at this part and summarize, or someone tell me what's going on here. Ooh, Fatma says lifestyle. Great. Okay, very nice. Yes, but again, someone help me out. I know we're all tired, but in the chat or someone say, what's this paragraph about? It's really important because if we look at that first, thing on the list, what is she really talking about here? For example,
It's a lot of one. He's talking now about our time now.
Right. Well, yes,
COVID,
exactly.
and how we are facing, how the change
Yes.
affect our focusing.
Yep.
With a lifestyle, like how we are living too much, we have to think about it.
That's it. That's right. So she's basically saying, and when, again, like Fatma was saying, she's introducing the problem, right? What's the problem? It is very hard for us to concentrate in 2021, right? It's hard to concentrate. She says technology is one reason, right? And then we get all these paragraphs about that lifestyle piece, but this idea of, if you notice, doing too much, right? Or this idea of, where does it say here? Multitasking in the extreme. Down here it says avoid multitasking. So there's this idea of trying to do too much at one time, right? And again, this is what we're all doing, you know. And everyone's at home, you know. People got their kids and their kids are doing school. I know, right next to them doing your school. I mean, like, we are just living multitasking, right? Hey, we're living multitasking like 24/7 right now, right? And this article is saying, that is what it is. This is life, but be aware this has an impact, right, on our ability to focus, on our ability to concentrate, and what we're able to do in a given day, right? Like, so again, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world when I start complaining about the screens, but it is real. Like, this is why it's too much. It has an effect on us, you know, it has an effect on us. It really, really does have an effect on us. Okay. So what we're going to do now is it's going to be your turn to write a little bit. I'm going to ask you to paraphrase some of these solutions. But before I ask you to paraphrase, do we have any questions about the main idea here, right? So, you know, imagine yourself writing now. If you were going to write about this article, I'll tell you also right now, you will never, at least in a good class, in a class I teach, or hopefully a class you take at ARC, no one will ever say, okay, Fazia, like, paraphrase everything that's in blue here. Oh my God, no. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't need to paraphrase a page or 5 pages. Paraphrasing something that's this long is not useful, right? Now, but we could summarize the ideas in these paragraphs the way we just did, right? You know, the author introduces this idea that there's something called brain lazy, like Sadaf was saying. Brain lazy means our brain isn't working very well. We're not getting things done. The author suggests, the author claims, the author argues, the author shows that there are 2 main reasons, right? Technology and multitasking, right? That's our like very sort of group created, super, super short summary of this introduction to the article. Does that make sense? Any questions about those ideas before I make you start writing in a few minutes here?
So you said we just need to summarize this paragraph?
Well, for right now, okay, great question, Sadaf. So right now, I'm not going to make you summarize these paragraphs. I think I'm just starting to show you because, right, one big problem that we have and why this class is so hard for you guys, why it's so hard for me to teach is we're trying to do like 3 different things at once, right? We're trying to get academic reading skills We're trying to learn how to paraphrase, and we're also trying to learn when should I summarize, when should I paraphrase, right? And all of that we're trying to do at the same time. That's very, very difficult. So if you're stressed or tired, be nice to yourself, right? But what I was trying to say there, Sadaf, is in that third point, if you're trying to think, well, when do I paraphrase? When do I summarize? This introduction to the article, right? This would be something that if you were writing about this article for a paper or a research paper, these would be ideas that you would summarize, right? Because I don't want you to feel like you have to paraphrase what this is like. I have a word counting app on my, let me see. This is 596 words. This is almost 600 words, right? And a good teacher, a good class will never ask you to paraphrase something that's 600 words long. If those ideas are that important, summarize, right? Because summarizing is a way to take things that are really long and emphasize the main ideas. Paraphrasing is when you've got some specific information that's very important, and you want to get all of those details, but you want to do it in your own words. Does that make sense, Sadaf?
Yes, I got it. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Yeah. Great question. Really great question. Really great question. Any other questions about this introduction? All right, you know what we're doing next. Let's start with a shorty. I know you'll like me better if I have you paraphrase things that are short. Okay, the first thing I want you to paraphrase is this number 7. And number 7 said, I'll read this one again. We'll talk about it, make sure we get the main idea, and then I'll give you 10, 15 minutes to write the sentences, and then we'll look at them just like last week. So number 7 says, eliminate distractions. Do whatever you can to keep distraction, temptation out of reach, whether that's putting your phone on airplane mode or deleting time-wasting apps. Quote, turn it off and put it away, says Dr. Magdalena Bachmer, advised us when we asked her for her top tips on cultivating a healthier relationship with tech. Revisit white sheets of paper to sketch on. Invest in a paper journal and make dedicated time for technology and stick to the task involved. For example, turn email on to check it and then turn it off. And turn the alerts off as well. Those constant pings really erode concentration. So what's the idea here? What does she say? What's the meaning in this section?
Before you start reading, just keep your phone away and turn the alarm off.
Cool.
Something like this.
I love it. Great. So I even say Fatma added there before you start reading, or that's great. But even more specific, turn it off, right? Turn the phone off or take it away from you while you're working. Good. What other ideas or meaning is in there? Any vocab we should look at?
Oh. Cultivating.
Cultivating?
What is it?
Good. Cultivating. That's the verb in the ing form. Let's go to Learner's Dictionary. That's my go-to. Let's see if we typed in cultivating. Good. Cultivating shows up as the verb. And here's how it started originally. The way it was used by humans in English first was to prepare and use soil for growing plants. Yes, usually cultivate is talking about plants. But if you look down here at the other definition, okay, number 1 says plants. Well, we're not really talking about plants in this article. Number 2 says plants. Okay, well, not really. Then notice number 3, to improve or develop something by careful attention, training, or study. He has carefully cultivated his image, his reputation. She has cultivated a taste for fine wines. Dr. Magdalena Bachmer advised us when we asked her for her top tips for cultivating a healthier relationship with tech, right? So what's a synonym for cultivating in this case?
Try to
Improving.
Who said make? Improve is good. Someone said make.
make.
I love it.
Yeah.
Make is nice. You know, what came to my mind, creating, making,
Prepared.
Yeah, preparing. Good. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So this is what this doctor said when we asked her how to make or create or prepare or have a better relationship with technology, right? Great. Good. What other vocab?
What means healthier relationship with tech?
Ooh.
Healthier.
Someone help Nadia. What's a healthier relationship with tech?
Yeah.
Strong.
A healthier relationship with, usually, of course, we think about relationships between people, right? Me and my mom, me and my dad, me and my brother, whatever. But we also can use this in
Healthier how to use it.
Yes, exactly. So I could say how to have a healthier relationship to sugar. A healthier relationship to sugar would mean for most people, eat less. You know what I mean? Or a healthier relationship with alcohol, don't drink. You know, this is the same idea, is how to make a healthier relationship, a healthier connection, how to use the technology in a more healthy way.
And
of course. What else? There's one word. This word, you guys know what pings are?
No.
Yeah. Ping. To make the high, sharp sound of a small, hard object bouncing off of metal or glass. So the engine in my car keeps pinging. But of course, the way she's using this here is, for example, turn email on to check it, then turn it off, and turn the alerts off as well. Those constant pings really erode concentration. What's the connection there between pings and alerts and your phone? What is she saying? Layla, and then Angela.
I think he wants to try to say, don't make avoid from noise, any noise, cell phone, a ring, or everything.
I think you're right, but I think in this sentence it's even more specific about phones, right? I think it's about email and phones because in the quote here, right, it says, for example, turn email on to check it, then turn it off, and turn off the alerts as well. Those constant pings really erode concentration. Angela, what were you going to say?
Or the ring or sound.
Good. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, sounds, exactly. So I think in this case, she's talking about the sounds on your phone, right? Bing, you have a text message. Bing, you have an email. Bing, or whatever, it's on vibrate. Bzz, 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 bzz. Yeah, I think that's the feeling that she's trying to get there too. And there's probably
interruption.
Good. Yes, definitely. The pings are interruptions. The buzz is an interruption. And then she says what those eruptions do is erode or gradually destroy or be gradually destroyed by natural forces. Usually erosion gets used to talk about the natural world, right? Crashing waves have eroded the cliffs along the beach. But we definitely use this idea of erode. We can talk about that with attention or emotions as well, right? Because here she's saying, turn the alerts off as well. Those constant pings really erode, wear down, right? Destroy gradually, slowly your concentration, right? Any other vocab words in this little paragraph to look at? If not, it's time to write. I want you to write a paraphrase of this number 7 here. So I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes. I'll check in with you guys in 10 minutes. I'm here if you need help, but I'll give you 10 minutes. If you need more time, we can add it, but try and do this in 10 minutes. Once you're done, type it in the chat and then we'll look at some examples together, okay? I'm going to mute myself, but I'm here if you need me.
Jeff, are you there?
I am here.
Can you check mine?
Yeah. And it's been about 7 or 8 minutes. If you guys, if when you're finished, you can put it in the chat. I'm going to start to
I did.
collect them. And oh, I see. I'm just telling other people to. And I'm going to start to put some in a document, and we'll look at them just like last week. Cool. All right, how we doing? We need more time. That was 11 minutes. Give me how about thumbs up if you need more time? Got it. Take another 5 minutes, and then we'll stop at 5 minutes because I want to do 2 of these. Okay, 5 more minutes. So that's 148. Whatever you got, paste it into the chat at 148. If you're already done, take a break, relax, get a glass of water, hug your kid, whatever you want to do. I'm here if you need me.
Take a nap.
Micro nap.
I slept 7:30 yesterday and I'm still tired. Still tired. I'm working in classroom and they didn't let us go over the spring break, which I have to finish it before.
I'm sorry, Fatma. Yeah, definitely. 4-minute nap. All right. Let's call it. I don't want to rush you, but I also, so it's good. This is good practice, right? However long it takes today is fine. But I also want you guys to realize, right? If you feel like it takes this long to paraphrase 5 or 6 sentences, it's good. It would, it would take you 20 hours to write a paper. So this is that balance, right? Between just do something and don't worry about it being perfect. Now, of course, this is a new skill. Anything that's new goes slower, but just things to keep in mind. So I see Sedaf posted hers. Thank you, Sedaf. So whatever you got, and if you want to look at it together, put it in the chat. I'm going to put some into a Word document, and then we'll look at some.
Professor, my
Good.
typing is slow when I type this and it will take a long of time. It's okay. I read in the paper. I will type it.
Yeah, type because it'll take me too long to listen and type out too. So type it if you want. Anybody else? Anybody have one more that they can copy and paste? Or I'm sorry, Rikshantu, I always assume people are typing on their computer, not writing on paper. So maybe that's another reason. Does anyone, if there's one more we can look at, does anyone want to put in the chat? We can look at another example. Okay, well, if you do, let's put it in there, but I'll look at these 3 that we got here then. So we got Fatma, Shari, and Sadaf. So, oh, and I think I see one more. All right, I don't know if this is Fatima or not. Okay, so we've got, and again, just for context, I'll read through the original and then we'll look at your paraphrases. So, eliminate distractions. Do whatever you can to keep distraction, temptation out of reach, whether that's putting your phone on airplane mode or deleting time-wasting apps. Quote, turn it off and put it away. Dr. Magdalena Bachmer advised us when we asked her for hot tips for cultivating a healthier relationship with tech. Quote, revisit white sheets of paper to sketch on, invest in a paper journal, and make dedicated time for technology and stick to the tasks involved. For example, turn email on to check it and then turn it off. And turn the alerts off as well. Those constant pings really erode concentration. All right, let's take a look. So Fatma says, according to Dr. Magdalena Bachmer, keeping our phones in air mode and other apps and turn off our phone, which are one of the pings that can erode our concentration while we're reading. And she provided us of some type we can follow to build a right relationship with technology that includes phone and email, just by making a schedule for ourselves that will help us limit our tech field. Cool. Cherie, do each stuff you can carry on to wipe out connection with tech so you can make your phone out of reach. Dr. Magdalena suggested us some ways to have a good deal with tech. Spending time more with regular tasks in a day and use paper instead of phone to do journal, and using cell phone just for checking or make sure whatever connecting us to tech. Sadaf says, according to the paragraph, we can do anything to eliminate the distraction, whether it's turning off the phone or removing extra apps on the phone. When we asked her how we could have a healthy relationship with learning, say Dr. Magdalena, instead of recording your schedule on your phone, write it down on a piece of paper and choose a better and more accurate method for yourself. And then Fatima's got part of hers. According to Dr. Magdalena Bach, it's better that we keep our phone away while we're studying and delete all apps that make us more busy. Ooh, Fatima was saying hers was short, but that's a great sentence. Okay, so before I tell you what I see, I'd love to hear from just a few people. What do we notice? There's some good things in all 3 of these, right? What do you guys think or feel about these 3 examples? What do you notice?
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rafi.
If you have time, could you read mine too? Because I want to be sure. Is it enough or it's a short? It's very short.
Is it in the chat? Let me see.
Yeah.
iPhone, which one?
No.
Where did I missed you, Rafael? Then there's Sadaf, there's Sharif. Ah, there you are. Thank you. You're right after Fatma's.
Is it too short?
Let's take a look. We'll add Rafi's in the mix here too. In order to have more concentration, one way that Dr. Magdalena had suggested is very useful. Doctor said, turn off your phone and put it away or put it on airplane mode. Also, she suggested some useful ways to have a proper way for using technology without any negative effects in our lives. Really nice, really nice. Okay, what do we notice? Is there anything that really stands out to you guys? There's one thing I noticed right away that I want to talk about, but anything that stands out or you guys see right away? No, Jeff, that's your job, Jeff. Teach us, don't make us talk. Okay, I'll talk. One thing, so remember when you're doing a paraphrase or even a summary, but I'll show you. Okay, number 7, this one again is why reading strategies matter. If I say to you, what's the main idea of this paragraph, right? What's this paragraph really about? One good thing that I love about online articles and books with headers like this is hopefully, if it's a good book or a good article, the header is going to give you some very important information. So number 7, the header says eliminate distractions. So what is this paragraph about? In one word.
Eliminate.
Smartphone.
Yes. Okay. So I was going to say you've got 2 choices. Eliminate. What's more? Both of these words are important. I want to be clear here, right? Eliminate distractions. Both are important, right? But I'll just say this.
I think it's about time.
Well, it's about distractions, right? And even in the first sentence, do whatever you can to keep distraction, temptation out of reach. So at the very beginning of this paragraph, the author is introducing this idea of distractions, right? And then is going to talk about why or how we can avoid those distractions, right? Now, one thing I noticed, Sadaf did this very well. Sadaf says, according to the paragraph, we can do anything to eliminate distraction. Now, there's one thing, so Fatma did some great things, right? According to Dr. Magdalena Bachmeyer, keeping our phones in AirMate and other apps, turn off our phone, which can erode concentration. But it takes a while here before we even get to this end of the sentence. We haven't introduced this idea of distraction. Fatma goes back to that idea of eroding concentration that we looked at the end here, which is great, right? But really, what erodes our concentration? Distractions, right? And that's why we want to make sure, paraphrase, same meaning, different words. And remember one cheat sheet that I think, do I have it in my PowerPoint today? Yeah, right. Paraphrasing, you're going to use the same structure. You can just follow the same order of the sentences. So Fatma did a great job with the meaning of the article. And I totally understand why she put this idea about erode concentration at the beginning. But remember, this idea of eroding concentration, it won't make sense to your reader unless you've introduced distraction, unless you've introduced the thing that erodes the concentration, right? So that's one thing I want to say Sadaf did really well is she followed sort of the same structure of the ideas in the original paragraph, right? And the other thing that she did really well, and oh my God, you guys, I was rereading some of the chapters in Hyperfocus just to get ready for next 2 weeks. And you're going to see this according to all the time. So, and Sadaf already kind of knows this. We've talked about this in different times, but according to blah, 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 according to this, or research conducted by blah, blah, blah. So Sadaf did this good thing that writing habit that we're going to see for the rest of the semester too. But according to the paragraph, comma, we can do anything to eliminate distraction. Now, I will change some of Sadaf in saying we should do anything we can do, right? Or we should try to eliminate distractions, right? Because that's really what Sadaf is saying here, right? Well, this is what Sadaf is saying, the article is saying. Right? According to the paragraph, the article, we should try to limit distractions. And that's where up here in Fatma's, we've got that great example where she gives the examples that were included in the article. Airplane mode, app, not using apps, turning off your phone completely, right? The other thing then Cherie does, so after we've introduced this idea of eliminating distractions, just like Sadaf has here, whether it's turning off the phone, removing extra apps on the phone, or this is like, I wanted to say one thing Cherie did great here, this example of make your phone out of reach, right? Great. And then spending time with regular tasks on a day, use paper. Good. And then, oh, good. Cherie also introduced this idea of paper. I think Sadaf had this too. When we asked her how we could have a healthy relationship, Dr. Magdalena says, instead of recording your schedule on your phone, write it down on a piece of paper and choose a better and more accurate method for yourself. I love that. And then I like this. Then I'm sort of combining all of these together here. And then I'd take this idea that Fatma did really well and put it at the end. If we keep our phones in airplane mode, something like we can avoid pings, or we can avoid pings are kind of like sounds, right? Sounds, buzzing, notifications, whatever. I mean, you know, you could, this is where you can kind of think about synonyms here, right? Buzzes, sounds, buzzing, notifications that erode, and what would they say? Break, destroy, just so we get a different verb in there, right? Our concentration when we're reading. Good. Now, Rafi's question was, is hers too short? In order to have more concentration, one way that Dr. Magdalena suggests is very useful. Turn off your phone and put it away or put it in airplane mode. She also suggested some useful ways to have a proper, this is perfect. Thank you, Rafi. Okay. This that we just sort of put together, the combination of Fatma, Cherie, and Sadaf's paraphrases, this is a good example of a paraphrase. And I want to keep showing you the difference between a paraphrase like this. And here, Rafi has an absolutely perfect summary sentence, right? Now I want to show you the difference between paraphrase and summary, right? Also, comma, she suggested some useful ways to have a proper way for using technology without any negative effects in our lives. This is perfect summarizing. In summarizing, you say, oh, the author gave some suggestions, boom. In a paraphrase, you include those suggestions, right? What those suggestions are. So if this were a major assignment, you know, I'd probably put like a red box around this and say to Rafi in the document, right? Like, you know, tell me, give me those specific examples. So instead of just saying some useful ways, you know, in a paraphrase, you list those specific ways. And we did that up here, right? Put it on paper, choose a better, accurate or method for yourself, airplane mode, turn off notifications. Those are the specific useful ways that Rafi is summarizing in her quote here, right? So Rafi, it's not even that yours is too short. It's kind of like yours is shorter than the rest because you've got a great, perfect summary sentence that doesn't include those specific examples. Does that make sense, Rafi?
Yes, thank you. I understand. Thank you.
And again, anyway, that's all I have to say. I see comments in the chat. Questions or ideas, other things we notice, any other, because that was me sort of, I'm just, again, like testing this out in Zoom now, telling you what I see. Any other ideas or examples, questions?
Professor, just I type it right now and enter, but I'm not sure it's correct or not because it's my first time that I do, yeah.
I got you, Rukshan, don't worry. According to Dr. Magdalena Bakmer, we should try to keep your mania free from something wrong. Mania, this is some kind of translation. Mania is a very specific word. Your mind free?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay. From something wrong, something, and good. And I would say instead of wrong, we'd say distracting. Or, so again, I can imagine sort of students going, Jeff, paraphrase means same meaning, different words. Distraction is the word that the author uses in the article, right? And that's true. So instead of saying something distracting, if you want to say that another way, again, this is another reason that that video with examples about synonyms is a great video, because you might need a phrase, you might need more than one word for a good synonym, right? So we should try to keep your mind free from something, instead of saying distracting. Right? And again, this is easy for me, you guys, because again, I'm a native speaker, but I hope that I'm not expecting you to be able to do this instantly like I can, but do you understand now if I say free from distractions or free from anything that will take our mind off of our work or take our attention away from our work, even though I didn't just replace distraction with one synonym for distraction, I am saying the same thing with different words. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And again, I know it's hard, but I just, if that example makes sense, then at least we're on the right track. Okay. So according to Dr. Magdalena Bachmer, we should try to keep our minds free from anything that takes our attention away from our work, like smartphones. Great. And then I'm going to put a period on your sentence, Rukshan, so we don't have a run-on. When you watch your smartphone, it wastes, I'm going to guess.
It wastes, Professor. Sorry, I typed it.
Wastes, got it. It's so funny because I don't think we have, vista is a Spanish word. I was like, vista? Also, she advised us to use other good things instead of smartphone. Good. And now this is like, again, I love this, right? This is exactly the same thing I was talking about with Rafi, right? This is a great sentence. These two sentences. Oh, I didn't do this right. Hold on. Ay, Diosita Santa. I'm tired, you guys. These two sentences. Totally different words, right? Totally different sentence structure, but both of these are examples of summary sentences. And again, I'm not picking on you guys, right? Rafi and Rukshan, these aren't bad sentences. They're great sentences. They're just examples of summarizing instead of paraphrasing, because paraphrasing includes all the details. Summarizing does what you guys did, right? Also, she advised us some other good things to use or do instead of the smartphone. But in our example that we sort of matched together up here, we included those specific things, right? Write it down. Where did you go? Write it down on a piece of paper. Airplane mode. Turning off notifications, stuff like that, right? So that's kind of in real time, right? The example between a summary type of sentence and a paraphrase type of sentence. Questions? Are you guys as tired as I am? That feels like that was a lot of work. I'm so tired. I feel like that was a lot of brain power to you guys. How do you feel? Anybody who can talk or type in the chat, tell me. So we're supposed to have we could have 15 more minutes, but I feel like we're done. I feel like I'm done, but I'll stay here and answer questions. But even on Zoom, I can kind of feel like, ooh, we've reached the end of our attention span is kind of how I feel. Thoughts, ideas, questions, comments? Again, I know it's hard and it's kind of this first week or two, it's so slow. But you have the rest of your entire college career to practice this. Remember, even after spring break, at the end of the semester, you're not going to be perfect at this. This is one of the most difficult college skills for anybody. And we'll get more practice with it after the break. Okay. Unless you guys have questions, I feel like I'm ready to end it here. So questions, ideas, anyone else want to look at examples? For my people whose examples I used, can I put this document on Canvas so that you guys can look at it? Rukshan, is that okay with you guys if I leave it up for everybody to see?
Yes, Professor.
Thank you. So says yes. Thank you to everybody. And again, just like last week, thank you for people who let us, share their work with us and let us look at the examples. I think it's really, really, really helpful. I hope, at least I hope it's helpful. I hope it's helpful. Cool. Any last ideas, last questions?
Can I ask a question?
Of course, Rafi.
About amazing topic, online classes.
I know.
Because
Yes, please.
sorry, because I remember you told us fall semester is going to be online classes too. I'm wondering because the number of people who received vaccination.
Yeah.
Is there any change about the fall semester or no?
For you guys, unfortunately, no. Our department is going to offer, I think there's going to be 4 classes on campus, but it's only the really low level students. I don't, we can all feel however I can, well, let me say, I can feel however I want to feel, but the school told our department, the lower level students, the really low beginners, they need to be on campus even more than the other levels. So we're going to have 20 and 30 level classes, Rafi. But for you guys, 325, 340, 350, there's going to be none of that in person. The ESL lab will be open sometimes a little bit. So if students need a place to go, if students wanted to go on campus to use a computer or to access the internet, I think that is going to be possible. I will know more about that after spring break, so I can keep sharing updates with you. So if students need technology, if they need a place to do homework, you will probably be able to go on campus in the lab. But for high level, classroom classes, it's still not going to happen.
We need just space.
How about the math class?
I have no idea. Possible, it's possible, Khatima, but I only know about our department. And like I said, I think there's going to be 5 ESL classes on campus. The president of the university, the administration said, but it's all 20 and 30 levels. It's all low level learners just getting started. It's not our high level classes.
Okay. Unfortunately.
Sorry. I know. It means, I know, like I said, I'm grateful for many things. I'm grateful to have a job, but yeah, more computers. I have to accept this about my life. More computers for the rest of 2021.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. You're right, though. I know. I do feel like, I wonder if the school regrets that they made this announcement 3 or 4 weeks ago, because yeah, things seem so much better now, but but that's what I know. That's what I know.
No chance.
Not that I know. Not that I know. Any other question? Thank you, Rafi. Any other questions about anything? All right, I'm going to stop recording. I know I see some students are asking for a sign up sheet and stuff like that. Let me stop.